The latest print edition of PressBox is on the streets now, featuring this month's cover story by Joe Gladania, entitled Rebuilding the Defense. Pick one up today from your local street box or read it for free right now at PressBoxOnline.com. Welcome back to Inside PressBox. The Orioles and Ravens are, of course, our biggest team sports, and fans are definitely passionate about them. But around this time of the calendar year, Baltimoreans are reminded of the great sport of kings, horse racing, which brings us now to our photo of the week. And as always, our photo of the week is brought to you by Yuengling Lager, a true American classic. Taste the quality of 180 years of family-owned and operated tradition brews into every single bottle. One man who remains incredibly passionate about horse racing's great past and hopes to play a part in its revival is the man pictured here, Under Armour CEO and owner of the renovated and reinvigorated Sagamore Farms, Kevin Plank. And what a tour it was. Kevin each year takes us and meets us out there at Sagamore Farms. There's one of the directors of the farm, the barns, a special indoor barn, some of the horses, and it was just a beautiful day out there. Sabina really got some great shots, and we might even have one coming up of Spinks, who was the rooster there. And I think we'll see that in just a minute. But all in all, great day out there at Sagamore Farms, and our congratulations go out to Kevin Plank. And now, as promised, the PressBox beat reporter for the Orioles, Paul Folkemer. And Paul, we welcome you to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're doing a super job in year one of PressBox.
I appreciate it.
Are the Orioles giving you a lot to write about?
Yeah, I think they are at this point. And this has sort of been a year of extremes, I think. I mean, this most recent homestand that ended, I think, was a welcome relief for Orioles fans. You know, the O's went 6-3. They won all 3 series, but there are still some problems.
There's some nagging questions.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like in the case of the 2 mysterious pitchers on that starting staff, they got a very positive answer on the one hand on Chris Tillman, and they got a very, again, suspect answer from Mr. Arrieta.
Yeah, and the thing that's frustrating about Jake Arrieta is that, you know, he's such a smart guy. He works so hard. He knows what he's doing wrong. He's just not able to fix it. I mean, he says he knows he needs to focus. He needs to work on pitching out of the stretch. And, you know, but then he goes out on the field and nothing has changed.
Well, the mind plays tricks on people, and this was the first time I heard manager Buck Showalter or anybody in authority with the Orioles allude to emotions getting the best of Jake Arrieta. You know, and he used the term about the putter who gets the yips. You know, if you tell somebody to throw strikes and they're thinking the wrong way, they're going to think of how to throw a ball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Arrieta admitted himself that, you know, he's been feeling anxious. He doesn't really know why he feels anxious because he has a lot of confidence, but that's something that Buck asked him right before they sent him to Norfolk is, why are you feeling so anxious in these situations? Just trust your stuff. You have great stuff. Trust it.
Well, you and I could spend this show and another show psychoanalyzing players. The question is, what do they do in both the short and long term with that 5th starter spot? Is Steve Johnson an answer down the road? Is Jair Jurgens an answer? Is Freddie Garcia an answer? Clearly Dylan Bundy's not, and Kevin Glossman, I don't think they want to accelerate quite that fast.
Right, exactly. I think Steve Johnson would probably be the next man up. I mean, he just came off the DL, so he needs to get a couple rehab starts first, but I think the Orioles would like to give him a shot. He pitched so well for them last year. You know, a guy like Freddie Garcia, he's a veteran, but I don't really think you're going to get much from him at this point in his career. And Jurgens, he's still working on building up his velocity in the minors. So there are a lot of question marks right now.
Talk about that everyday lineup right now. About 6 of the spots are pretty solid, and they're going to be out there just about every day. But the DH and second base spots are question marks right now, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Orioles are missing Wilson Betemit and Brian Roberts a lot more than any of us expected they would. You know, they really haven't gotten much production at all from DHs and second basemen while those 2 have been out. You know, Ryan Flaherty, they're giving him lots of chances, but he just hasn't hit yet. And at DH, you know, Reimold, he's had his moments, but hasn't really gotten it together yet.
Isn't the bottom line is that they've got this surplus of pitching, but it's not proven pitching, so any trade involving them, they're not going to get true value for what they think they have there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of these young pitchers, their value is not really that high right now. You know, Zach Britton, I thought he would have a breakout year this year. That hasn't worked out well so far. And, of course, Arrieta, we all know the problems with him. So if you tried to trade them now, you're trading them for pennies on the dollar.
Let me ask you one key question. On offense, it looks like they've gotten a vastly improved Manny Machado. I mean, he is really becoming a solid player.
Yeah.
We've got about a minute. Chris Davis. Is this the real Chris Davis? Is it somewhere in between our worst fears about Chris Davis and what he's done now? Is that the real Chris Davis? Or maybe is his mentality that, hey, I've got good stuff and I'm proving it?
Well, I don't think he's going to be quite this good, as good as he's been so far this year. You know, he was on pace for like 100 home runs or something. That's probably not going to happen. But I think he'll be similar.
Could he hit 30?
Oh, yeah, he'll hit 30.
And could he knock in 100 runs?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And hit 280?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I think he'll be pretty much the hitter he was last year, maybe a little bit better.
All right. And most importantly, that the defensive questions people had about him, he's answered in the affirmative.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we really haven't seen any defensive issues from Davis at all. There was one game where he let a ground ball go through his legs, but other than that, he's been fine.
Paul Folkemer, many thanks.
Thanks a lot.
We'll have you on a little bit later on in the spring and summer. When we get back, it's feature time as we present another installment of Caps Redline from our friends at Monumental Sports and Entertainment. Plus, we'll get another betting tip from Pimlico handicapper Frank Carulli. We'll be right back. Want a great t-shirt for the female sports fan in your life right now? Check out the Your Turn t-shirt. Available now at yourturntshirt.com or at the Zone Superstore at 1744 East Joppa Road.